Do you remember your experience as a child of being raised in all the Disney movies that told you that you were enough, that you were amazing, that you were special in your own way, and that you had something to offer, and that the world was just waiting for the true self to come out, and you just had to love yourself and bring your true self out, and then life would be effortless. Like, you wouldn't have a job, you'd have a career, it would just be you being you in the world, and that would pay for itself. And as an adult, we still get that message. It is love yourself first. How can you expect anyone else to love you unless you love yourself? And that is true. That is true. But it's just hard to get a grasp on exactly what it means to love yourself. Because if I did love myself, I would want myself to be better. Because I'm a fuck up half the time. As in, like, I'm not good enough right now. I could be so much more. And surely if I did love myself, I would want myself to be more. And if I want myself to be more, then that isn't loving myself right now. So exactly where do I stand? Like, what is that? So that's a very easy kind of duality there, which is your maternal, your motherly love, which is love you no matter what. No matter how big the fuck up, you are still worth time, you are still worth space. The world is better for having you around. And that's very easy to know in your headspace, or has been for me, very hard to integrate and actually embody that. Because it is so much easier to have the other side, the paternal love, where it is, I love you, but you could do, like, we can keep going, we can push, you can go. And it's so much easier just to grasp that because it has a payoff. But the only thing is, if you get stuck on that side where, you know, trying to bring out the better side of yourself the whole time, it's like, you could always be better. Always. So you will just end up grinding yourself into the dirt. But the other side is if you love yourself no matter what, then just why bother doing anything? And again, just people can get stuck on either side of this. And it's difficult. So we hear so much about this, about like loving ourselves. And we've just never actually kind of critiqued it, and kind of, like, we've liked the Instagram posts, and we like the little motivational speeches and like whatever else, because it's true and you feel it as true and it makes you feel good and whatever else. But it doesn't actually make sense, like, all together, like, actually, like, in life, outside of the video, outside of the screen, in life, it doesn't make sense. Kind of. So I want to offer you two different things here to try and help you pull this apart and really try and bring it, like, away from the screen and into how you interact with yourself primarily, but also those around you, your family, your friends, work, everything else. So the first thing I want to go through is, you're going to hate me for this, but it's the ancient Greek definition of love. And they divided it into three. And that is eros, philia, and agapic. And these three types of love. So eros is a consuming sort of love. I want. It's where we get erotic from. But it is wanting something to be part of you. So again, like, in that romantic sense, it is the just consuming sort of love. But on, like, a personal sense, it is wanting the better body. It is wanting the status or the money or the, like, whatever else. You want something to be part of you. Then you have philia, which is a reciprocal sort of love. I offer something, they offer something back. And this is kind of friendship, where there's a payoff to both parties. And again, with yourself, you do have this, which is where you negotiate with yourself. If you want to try and train yourself to do anything, you have to offer, like, little rewards, or you have to notice the little rewards in what you're doing. So again, I'm going to try and stick with gym for most of this video because it's what I'm working on at the moment. But so if I want to go to gym, I have to pack my bag. And sometimes that can be, or at least years ago, this was a sticking point for me, like, actually going to the gym. So making the packing of the bag rewarding was just having supper afterwards. But you can do it in whatever other way you want. Just chill time afterwards, or some sort of treat, or some sort of screen time, or whatever it is. But reward yourself for doing the smaller task. And this is negotiating with yourself. and trying to make these things pay off, because gym is a long-term sort of thing and you don't get to see the results for a couple of months, and even then you won't see it because it'll take someone else, because you're too close to yourself. You see yourself every day, so you don't see the change. It'll take someone else saying it to you for you to see that change. So making all the small things rewarding, or some of the small things rewarding at least, is you negotiating with yourself, is trying to kind of trick yourself into doing this new habit. And you can do this for everything, whether it's reading, your diet, exercise, whatever else. Okay, and then you have the third type of love, which is your agapic love. And this is what you hold for a child, is the best way to phrase it. And it is that I love you and I just want to see you grow. I want nothing from it. I will just give as much as I can and just be amazed at what comes out. Whether I get something from it or not, it is nothing, like that's not even in your head. It is just want you to just be something. And you have this for yourself as well. This is your exploratory sort of urge. I want to just find out like what emerges. So when you're being creative, you want to just riff on guitar. You're not planning it out. It's like you find something cool. Or it is, I want to go down a rabbit hole and just be like, oh my God. And again, it might never pay off. You might not use it in your job, or you may never talk about it to anyone, but it is just, let's see what happens. So that is your ancient Greek triad of love. And I have found that useful because it helps me kind of separate out. But again, when do we use each of these things? Like if we want to be exploratory, like as this can get messy basically, but let's ignore that for the moment. Just separating it into three has been useful. Separating into the two of the mother and the father has also been useful. But again, this is all trying to define love. Like actually, like love is this thing. And you're all going to say this if you haven't said it already. You can't define love. It's not something that's tangible. It is not explainable half the time. It is just a weird factor in life that we all kind of take for granted. So like, again, it comes back to, we are all being told to love ourselves. We are all being told to accept who we are and open up and all of this stuff. So here is what did get me. And it wasn't a definition of love. It was love as an action. Just trying to define how you participate in love. And how you participate in love is that you are willing to teach the other person who you truly are. So think about this in your relationships. That, hey, you misunderstood me there. This is what I actually meant. And not getting annoyed, not getting angry that they had this kind of distortion of what you tried to say. Or here's the harder one, is when they didn't distort what you just said and it was just your lower angels coming out. It was the kind of shadier sides of you. And you have to honestly say, yeah, that wasn't my best moment. That was me, and I'm sorry. Because again, we can get caught in being defensive or trying to explain it or trying to justify it or trying to whatever else. And that's not exactly being present, and it's not exactly being honest. Because whatever justification you come up with was offered after you saying it. That wasn't there when you said the words. So again, being honest and being willing to teach the other person, hey, these lower sides of this lower angel of mine came out because of this thing you said. And this thing you said is not, there's nothing wrong with that. This is just a wound that I have. This is just something that is mine, and I'm sorry. And I will continue to work on it. Or, hey, can you help me work on it? Or whatever way that works. It is teaching the other person how to work with you. So let's internalize that. Being honest with ourselves. Teaching ourselves how to work with ourselves. So I can stick on the gym. We can do that for exercise, but we can also do it for reading, for research, for being social, for being professionally driven, for being whatever else. What, like your family, friends, hobbies, and work. That's your 4 pillars of life. So in any of those, wanting to improve or you're trying to hit a milestone, you're trying to achieve something. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's teach ourselves how to work with ourselves. So going to the gym, it's like, okay, struggling with that. Okay, why do you want to go to the gym? Well, I want to look good and I want to, be fit or something like that. It's like, okay, why do you want that? And it's like, so that people look up to you or something, or because, for relationship wise, that you want to be attractive or whatever else. It's like, okay, but you're not going to the gym. So does that actually drive you? That might be the drive you have in your head at the moment, but it's not actually driving you to go to the gym. So why not? Or more like, maybe not why not, that's kind of a bit loaded, but it's just not. So what other drives are there for going to the gym? It's like, well, it's good for your mental health. It's good for living longer, for just being healthier in general. It is good for social life, that you'll meet people and all the rest. It's like, okay, are these things paying off? Is it actually better for your mental health? It's like, yeah, okay, but that's not driving you, or, well, maybe you don't care about your mental health. Maybe you're not caring about your mental health. If so, why not? Maybe for living longer, maybe you don't care about that. If so, why not? Or why, do you know what living longer would look like? What does your later life look like? What does life look like when you're 60 plus? Like, we don't think about that too often. Or if it's being social, are you actually being social in the gym? If not, why not? So again, it is having the honest conversation with yourself of what is actually driving you, what is failing to drive you. If you have wants that you are not pushing for, or that you're not kind of making any sort of progress on, well then let's look at the drives that you have for actually getting there. Are they correct? Are they in the right order? Are they actually coming from you? All of these questions. And really, it's not going through a checklist of all of these questions. It is just sitting in a space. I would advise you to meditate. But just sitting in a space and kind of saying, or do you know what? Sometimes it's just realizing that it's not happening. And just being like, yeah, I'm not, am I? It's like, bollocks to it. And accepting failure. And saying, hey, I failed for the last week. It's like, yeah, I did, didn't I? Okay, Grant. How are we going to... What changes this? What habits do I have? Can I latch it onto a different habit? Can I... how am I rewarding my other habits? Are other things getting in the way? Am I punishing myself, which is a common enough one? All of this. And all of this is to say, it's like, so we're not going to necessarily fix all the problems in the world right now, but all of this is just to say that if you are presenting yourself to yourself honestly and teaching yourself how to work with yourself, that is loving yourself. That is what it's about. That's the game. So hopefully you can take that away from the screen. Hopefully that isn't just an Instagram quote that you can like or whatever else. Hopefully in life you can just remember that. Am I presenting myself honestly? Am I teaching the other person how to work with me? Am I teaching the other person who I truly am? Am I teaching myself who I truly am? Am I teaching myself how to work with myself? Or am I just telling myself what to do and then punishing myself for not doing it? Which we've all done. So no judgment. It's totally okay. So let's live honestly, let's love ourselves, and yes, then the world does open up and then everything does become easier because you're a stronger person for it. This is not about making the world easier. This is about making you stronger. So hopefully you got something from this. Again, hopefully you can take it away from the screen, and that it hopefully is an intrusive thought that just kind of sparks in your head. Hopefully it's like just a little kind of virus at the back of your head that kind of creeps in. And next time you're having an argument with your beloved spouse, and you're giving out to each other, and it's just stuck, that you just have that moment of thought where you're just like, am I teaching them how to work with me? Am I presenting myself honestly? And if not, why not? Am I coming from a place of love or a place of fear? And all these other Instagram quotes that we can quote. But again, just, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, or else I'll just ramble. So, hopefully you enjoyed that. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.